Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, dogs of all genders, sizes, colors, and sexual persuasions, perhaps. On the bed tonight, we have the Micks Cheap Whiskey Review, number 33, I believe. And as you can see, it is Copper Dog. Now, this is another one of those interesting ones. I did one a few back that was a blended single malt. This is also a blended single malt. These are all Speyside single malt scotches, and the bottle itself says that there's no fewer than 8 different Speyside single malts blended into this blend. One disappointing thing about it is it's only 40%, 80 proof. I like my scotch a little bit higher. And the name is kind of interesting. Copper Dog, besides perhaps referring to the color of a dog, a copper dog was an actual pipe on a chain, that was clogged at one end, a pipe on a chain, and the people who would work at the distilleries in the old days would hide that in their socks, and then when they were filling barrels, moving barrels, whenever they had a chance to get near an open barrel, they would drop that little pipe on a chain down into the barrel and scoop out a dram or two of scotch, sneak a little shot here and there while you're at work, I guess. What else are you going to do in a distillery, right? And that's what a copper dog refers to. As a matter of fact, let me put the drink down. I'll show you. That is what a copper dog looks like. It's a copper pipe, closed on one end in a chain, and then they would drop it in. It tells you, you know what I mean. And years long past, distillery workers would help themselves to a dram using a copper dog, a pipe hidden inside the leg of their trousers. These Speyside rascals and characters are the inspiration for this unique malt of no fewer than 8 single malt whiskeys, slowly married together in old casks, an easy drinking scotch with ripe fruit aromas and delicate spicy finish. First created in the Craigellachie Hotel. So that makes me wonder if the Craigellachie distillery is part of the blend. That would make sense, wouldn't it? I guess. I'm not sure if the Craigellachie distillery has a hotel or if Craigellachie is the name of a town. It's probably the name of a town because a lot of these places are named after towns or valleys that are, regions of Scotland inside of their individual, this is the Speyside region. So I don't really know if the Craigellachie distillery is connected to the Craigellachie Hotel, but it would make sense that they must be somewhere near each other or they wouldn't have the same name. With that being said, let's get the old schnoz right up inside the glass. Yeah, you get the hints of fruit right off the rip, like almost a raisiny, plummy, like raisins or plums. That's the first thing that hits me. It's very light on the nose. There's no ethanol on it. Not a whole lot of malt either, surprisingly, since this is a blend of at least 8 single malts. You'd figure you'd get blasted with the malt first, but no, this is slightly different. You can see it's got decent color. Decent color. You don't get an age statement. I was caught between this and Buchanan's 12. They were both about the same price. I think they were about $34, I think. Either 32 or 34. I can't really remember. So I think maybe one of the next ones I'll get the Buchanan 12 and see what that's all about, because that's another blended Scotch whiskey, but with an age statement. This does not give you the age statement, but it's got a nice nose. Yeah, I'm getting like hints of fruit, darker fruits on the nose. Not a whole lot of malt, but you get some malt. You get no ethanol. You get a little bit of sweetness on it too. It's got a nice aroma to it. Here's to hoping the palate's as good as the nose, because the nose is very nice. All right, down the hatch it goes, people. Yeah, okay. On the palate, I get the malt first. I don't get as much fruity character on the palate. I'll go back in a second. And you get the definite barrel spice on the back end. You get that definite bourbon barrel spice on the back end. It's got a nice spicy finish. It's not overly spicy. And you get the malt up front. But let's have one more dig at it. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Yeah, you get the malt up front. I get a lighter fruit on the palate. Like, I almost want to say like apples. Like something, the fruit in the middle of the palate is combining with the spice at the back of the palate. And it's almost giving you like a spiced apple flavor. Not heavy, not like you're eating grandma's old spiced apples. Those things were delicious. God, I should have friggin' paid more attention to how my grandmother made those. But yeah, it's like a lighter fruit in the palate. You get a deeper fruit on the nose and kind of a lighter fruit on the palate. Kind of like I said, kind of almost like a, let me go one more time, make sure I'm getting this right. Yeah, you got the malt up front. Yeah, it's almost like a spicy apple or a spicy apricot or something. Like a lighter fruit, not like a plum or a raisin. It's like a lighter, juicier fruit on the palate. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Not too shabby. All right, what's the bottom line with this bullshit? The Mad Mix cheap whiskey review. I believe it's number 33. Larry Bird's number. Gotta love Larry Bird. Uh, Copper Dog, Speyside blended malt whiskey. Um, I like it. I'll give it a. I'll give it an 8.4. I like it. It's probably, for 34 bucks, it's not bad. I don't think you could do. There's that, like I said, there's that other one I did a few back. I wish I could remember the name. Is it up here on my thing? Is it up? No, it wasn't the Deacon. Maybe it was Monkey Shoulder. Maybe it was that Monkey Shoulder. That was kind of a blend of a bunch of single malts. You know what I mean? I think it was that Monkey Shoulder that was a blend of all the single malts. So maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. And that was pretty good. Not bad at all. I think this one's a little cheaper than that. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with like an 8.4. It's got a good price point. It's got a great nose. And it's got a very good taste to it. You know what I mean? And it's very smooth. It goes down like nothing. You could sip this all night long. This thing does not bite you. The only bite you'll probably get out of it is that nice spice at the back end. But you know what? Almost all Scotch and Irish whiskeys have that because they age them in used bourbon barrels. And those used bourbon barrels can impart a lot of spice to whatever liquor you put into them after they've been used. All those tannin, all those wood tannins and wood sugars are usually sucked up by the bourbon. Then by the time they reuse them for a second time to make these scotches, a lot of what's left behind is that kind of bourbon spice. And you know it, if you drink a lot of Scotch or Irish, you'll know what I'm talking about with bourbon spice. So I recommend this. If you can get it for like I got it about 34 bucks, I'd say go for it. I've had worse. I'd say either go for this or go for that other one I was just talking about. What the hell was the name of it? I just freaking looked at it. The Monkey Shoulder. Sorry, I had to turn around and look at it again. I've drinking so so many of these different whiskeys, they kind of all blend into each other. But yeah, I think, it's rare that you find a bunch of single malts blended together, because sometimes they'll put in, just malt whiskey and not single malts. This is a blend of at least eight different Speyside whiskeys, and the Speyside has some good whiskeys in that region. You know what I mean? A lot of good distilleries. So this drink's smooth. Has a great nose, has a good flavor. I gave it an 8.4. I'll stick by it. If you can get it for 34 bucks. Obviously, from watching my channel, if once the price starts going up, the score starts going down. You know what I'm saying? But for 34 bucks, I think this is a decent buy. I've had far worse than this for 34 bucks. So, with that being said, hey, love yourself. Gotta love yourself, people. Respect yourself always. Love your family. Love your friends. Love cheap whiskey. And remember, I drink cheap whiskey, so you don't have to. Take care, my people. I'll see you soon enough. Later.